Hi everyone, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. Now normally, I ain't gonna tell a fib. If I'm reviewing a TV program, it's because it's absolute hot garbage. Your Batwomans, your Doctor Who's, your, oh my goodness, Star Trek Discovery. And those shows are so badly written, produced, acted, whichever one you want to pick, that normally you'll see either complete laughter, a breakdown, or madness occurring. And so they tend to make for relatively good entertainment, I would hope, for you lot. However, this is a bit of a personal thing because this show is the show that I've been intrigued about. The trailers that I've seen for Wanda Vision have been very interesting. And the reason for me why they've been very interesting is because they are different. Now, I do like a lot of the Marvel movies. Do not get me wrong. In actual fact, Winter Soldier is one of my favorite superhero films of all time. Definitely top 3. But I got to also confess that I was getting really bored with them towards the end. They just felt very standard, as if there was a very standard formula applied to them. And so they really weren't that different. And so I became very selective about which ones I watched, and I just put a lot to the side. I didn't bother with your Ant-Mans and your Black Panthers and your Captain Marvels, and it took me years before I even saw Doctor Strange, because I just decided to stick with the core, the Iron Man, the Captain America, and the Avengers movies. So this, to me, coming out of the Marvel Universe, looked bizarre and looked interesting. And actually, in actual fact, it took two of the characters who were both sort of mystically enhanced. Scarlet Witch, she has these mind-altering powers. She has this telekinesis and all. She's got multiple ones. I'm not sure we even know what her powers truly are. Neither do I think Marvel Studios. And Vision, of course, who was brought to life by the Infinity Stone, the Mind Stone, and met his demise in Infinity War. And so bringing them back together, when is this set? Is this set prior to Infinity War? Is this set after Infinity War? If it's set after Infinity War, how is Vision in this? So lots and lots of questions that were to be asked about this series in general. And now with just the basics, then on top of that, of course, we had the setting. Yes, it's black and white. The first show is completely black and white, and it's set up like Bewitched. From the 60s, would be 60s, I think, in America. Just a really clever way of putting something together. The aspect ratio is was it 4:3 in those days, or 16:9, whichever one it is. The aspect ratio is the same as if you're watching a black and white TV from the olden days, and you have the canned audience laughter, and the show is written as if it is a Bewitched comedy show. With the husband who's a little bit bumbling, and then of course the brains of the family is the wife. And she's trying desperately hard to keep things together, but the two of them work in synergy and they make a great household, and that's why they love each other. And so when I saw the first episode, and when all of it, I think apart from one single thing, was in black and white, I do believe there was maybe a beeping on a device, and there was actually a red LED that was beeping, which was obviously adding this tiny bit of color into the show. Other than that, everything was just, this is a standard 1950s black and white comedy, but you've got Wanda and you've got Vision in it. And so you will be scratching your head for most of it going, what's going on? Because they're playing it as earnest as it gets. But there are moments, very clever moments in the episode, which show that there is a very sinister underbelly here. That things aren't quite going according to plan. And things in this universe that they currently exist, or wherever they are, this reality that they currently exist, not everything is as it seems. And that's exactly what I hoped and wanted from this show. I wanted something that was going to set up the mystery, but I wanted there to be an intrigue on top of it. And so while you're fascinated by the comedy aspects of it, while you're fascinated by the old TV set, and that the house is made up like an old 1950s television set as well. When I say set, don't mean TV set. I mean TV setters on a stage. And so it looks very basic and very domesticated. And yet, when he goes to work, he's in an office, he doesn't know what he's doing. They have a calendar at home that's they're on the 23rd of the month, and there's a heart above it, but they don't know why the heart's there. They can't remember. Very basic aspects of their life, they can't remember. They can't remember when they got married. They can't remember how they got here. They can't remember how they got together. These are the things, of course, which you don't forget. These are the things which are very prominent in your mind. And so by the fact that they can't remember, sets up this fascinating intrigue into the episode. And so you're drawn in because basic questions which people are asking them, neighbors, work colleagues, they're unable to answer. But because of the nature of the TV show that they're in, it's passed off as comedy. But you realize as a viewer who's more astute, there is something much more than meets the eye that's going on here. And that makes it really intriguing. The second episode, because I'm not trying to spoil it for you too much. I want you to go out and watch it if you've got Disney Plus, etc. The second episode starts off with some crashing noises, some very, very loud and abrasive crashing noises, which they can't work out what they are. Again, it's still set in this 1950s TV show. And ultimately, they think it's just a branch from a tree hitting the window. But clearly it isn't. There's clearly a deeper mystery there as well. We then see a remote control aeroplane, I think it is, that's crashed into Wanda's, I was going to say bush, ladies, hedge at the edge of her pathway. But because this is a black and white TV show, when she sees it, it's color. The whole thing is color. This plane, and she doesn't understand what's going on. Neither, of course, do we. But then part of the TV show happens, and a neighbor comes along, and a neighbor drags her away to an event, which makes her drop it and forget about it. It's never mentioned again. She cannot remember it again. And then at the party that she's at, after comedy ensues, when she's left at the end to clean up, her host cuts her hand, but when she cuts herself, the blood is red on this black and white TV show that's going on. And certain aspects happen where neighbors will say, hey, are you going to do this? Are you going to do that? And they realize as Wanda and Vision, they can't. But because this is technically a TV show at the beginning, things happen. And I don't want to ruin what it is because interesting things are starting to happen. So trying to be nice and vague and spoiler free, this show brought intrigue. It brought mystery. It brought great acting and great comedy in the way of a 1950s show. There wasn't anything too modern in there. Maybe the odd joke here or there for the adults, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, and all that sort of thing. But it was very well and very beautifully put together and shot. And the fact that there is definitely a deeper mystery going on, as was revealed later on in episode 2. And then the conclusion to episode 2, which changes everything, going forward. This show looks like it's going to be a nice slow burner that's going to drip feed little bits of information as it goes through, and hopefully, because I'm not massively into the Marvel universe, so I don't understand a lot of the different characters or a lot of maybe the nods which might be in here, but even halfway through, like a very clever thing was halfway through each of the episodes there was a commercial break. And in the first episode, there was a commercial break for a Stark toaster. And obviously we know Stark, etc. Done in a cracking sexist way, which is really funny. And then in the second episode, there's another great sexist advert. Because, in the 50s, it always was from the male point of view. There's a watch advert, and the watch has Hydra on it. So there's little bits of information which are being fed to you. Now, they could be nods, or they could come into effect later on in this series. But WandaVision, I found delightful. I found funny. I found interesting and intriguing. And this is the first time in a long time that I've seen something very different on television, or at least very different when it pertains to the superhero genre. And so I am 100% invested in this and cannot wait for next week's episode. So until then, hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, do give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media and YouTube for live streaming. Links there in the description box down below. And I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care. Bye for now.